If you're thinking about replacing your roof, one of the first decisions you'll face is what type of material you want to use. And for most people, it comes down to three things: the aesthetics, or what you want it to look like, how long you want it to last, and finally, how much you're willing to spend. Let's run through the main options so you have a clear picture of the pros and cons of each. Asphalt shingles are on roughly 80% of homes in the Carolinas, and that's not an accident. They're cost effective, they come in a wide range of colors and profiles, and a quality architectural shingle system will give you 25 to 30 years when it's installed correctly.
The three largest manufacturers are GAF, CertainTeed, and Owens Corning. Each of them offers a complete system of components, so not just the shingles, but the leak barrier, underlayment, starter strip, ridge cap, and ventilation components. And their extended warranties require a full system to be installed properly, so you want to make sure any estimate you receive has all those components to qualify.
Metal roofing is the other major option here in the U.S., and the promise of metal is that it's more durable and longer lasting than shingles. There are two types you'll encounter: standing seam and multi-rib, which is also called ag panel or screw down panels. They're not equivalent products, however, and the price difference is significant.
Right. Multi-rib roofing is roughly the same cost as a shingle roof replacement, while standing seam can be 2 to 3 times as expensive. Multi-rib is a thinner, cheaper panel which is fastened to the deck with exposed screws right through the panel. While that's a very fast way to install the panel, for each screw, you just created a potential failure point in leaking.
So if you have 5,000 screws in your multi-rib roof, you now have 5,000 opportunities for leaking.
And given the expansion and contraction of metal from the sun and the seasons, you're in trouble sooner than you think. We often see homeowners with multi-rib roofs that have leaking after just 10 to 15 years.
So much for the benefits of metal, huh?
Well, hold on. This super standing seam really shines. First of all, it's generally much thicker. You may hear the term gauge, like 29 gauge for multi-rib or 24 gauge for standing seam. Generally speaking, the lower the gauge, the thicker the metal. So the thicker metal is more durable. And also, standing seam has no exposed fasteners. Each panel is either clipped or crimped over the raised seams, which protects the panel from leaking and limits points of failures.
So there's no screws at all?
Well, there are some fasteners, but primarily at the top of the panel, and they are covered to limit their exposure to weather. And most of the metal suppliers offer an extended paint warranty of up to 30 years, so you're more likely to have a paint or appearance issue long before you have any leaks with standing seam.
That all sounds great. So what's the downside to standing seam?
Well, the installation process is much more involved, and therefore the costs are higher. It typically will cost at least 2 to 3 times what a shingle roof replacement will cost.
Gotcha. And I know there are some newer metal offerings from GAF that are intended to compete with standing seam. Tell us about those.
Sure. So GAF has a newer product called Timber Seal, which offers the same benefits of standing seam, but more of a traditional shingle profile and appearance. It's a really neat option and comes in a number of colors and costs about the same as standing seam.
Now, beyond asphalt shingles and metal, there are specialty materials worth knowing about. Slate is one of the most durable roofing materials in existence, but it's heavy.
Very heavy.
And if your home doesn't already have slate on it, your internal structure has to be engineered to carry that load. That structural work, combined with the material cost and the specialized labor required to install it, as each slate is individually fastened to the decking, makes slate a significant investment. You'll see it on historical homes and high-end custom builds. It's a great product, but there's a lot to it for sure.
Another material we see, especially in the mountains, is cedar shake. Cedar shake is a natural, handsome appearance that's hard to replicate. The material is real cedar wood, although there are some synthetic look-alike materials in the market now as well. But the installation process is similar to slate, so it's much more labor-intensive, which again makes it one of the more expensive options for a roof replacement.
What about ceramic tile?
Well, we don't see ceramic tile very often in the Carolinas. It is used a lot in certain markets, and in particular on Spanish-style homes. Like slate, it can easily last over 50 years when installed properly and is very weather resistant. But just like slate, it's very heavy, so you need to ensure your roof is built to be able to handle it.
So those are the main material types: asphalt shingles, metal, slate, cedar shake, and ceramic tile. We've run through the major pros and cons to each.
The right answer depends on your home structure, your budget, and the look you want to achieve.
Right, so there are lots to choose from, and certain contractors may specialize in only 1 or 2 types of materials, so make sure to look for roofing companies in your area that line up with your desired material types.
Thanks again for joining us for another episode of This Old Roof.
See you next time.